I'm back. Give me a quick second. So, of course, you want to make some noise. Get it. Literally, within 10 seconds of every recording, he starts whimpering and whining as if I'm not paying him any attention. But literally, all he does all day is just lay in this bed until I start recording or talking on the phone. Then he wants to play. And when I try to play with him at other times of the day, he just doesn't want to play. But I'm not here to talk about my dog. What I wanted to talk about today is quitting. I'm quitting. This is the end. Not for this, but for my wedding photography business. Here in Southern Ontario, we're in the beginning, the middle of a really bad third wave of COVID cases. There's no way of getting around the topic, right? Like, I watch a lot of YouTube videos and they try and kind of skirt the issue. But here's the reality is I know so many wedding photographers who are shuttering their business. This year is their last year of business. I have a couple of weddings still to shoot, but beyond that, I'm not taking on any more wedding clients. Once this is done, I don't know when this will be done here in the Hamilton area, here in Ontario. But when it's done, it will take me about a year to recover, for my business to recover. And based on our timeline here in Southern Ontario, I'm not even going to be able to start advertising again until the fall. While I'm in the southernmost part of Canada, everything kind of shuts down. The sun starts setting around 5:30, 6 p.m. in October. So we don't have a lot of hours to get photos, to meet with clients and do engagement shoots and things like that. So it wouldn't be for yet another year from now, today's April 21st, before I could even really start advertising and building clientele again. And then I would be looking at booking weddings for 2023, 2024. That's 2 or 3 years away. Financially, I can't survive 2 or 3 years without an income. Nobody can. We are getting some financial support from the federal government here in Canada, which is an absolute blessing. But for the most part, weddings here are very seasonal, and they're just something that, as a business, no longer makes sense for me to pursue. So I'm quitting. So that brings us to a question. When is it okay to quit? I think there are a number of reasons and conditions that make it okay for you to, want to quit or to have to quit. First of all, any reason that you decide you want to stop doing something is a perfectly valid reason. Perfectly valid. In my previous business, I ran an improv comedy training center in Toronto. I ran that business probably for 2 years longer than I should have. Definitely a year longer than I should have, possibly 2. I should have gotten out a lot sooner. Commercial rents in Toronto were going up. It was very difficult to find a space to have a multi-classroom training center that wasn't exorbitant, that we could afford and break even, let alone making a profit. We never really made a profit. And when the company shut down, I had a lot of debt and wasn't able to pay most of it off. So that really sucks. It's something that haunts me and something that actually drives my decision-making process now. So the first reason why it would absolutely make sense to shut your business down is if you're losing a lot of money. If you cannot afford to pay your expenses, shut the doors. Now, the great thing about photography is, as a business, you can scale back and ramp up as you need, as long as you have another income. If photography is your primary income, but it is not paying the bills, you either need to make some significant adjustments to either lower expenses or bring in more clients, increase your rates, change your brand positioning in the market, or you need to shut down. A lot of people just do not talk about when is the right time to quit your business. There's never a good time, but there is a moment when you realize this isn't working the way I had planned. The second reason you might want to quit your business is you just don't love what you're doing anymore. Often a lot of people get into something like photography because they love it as a hobby, but then when it becomes a business that they have to rely on to pay their bills, it becomes work. It is work. It's not easy work either. As a professional photographer, your job is to solve client problems. If something goes wrong on set, you can't reschedule. You need to figure out a way to make it work and get the job done. You have to use your ingenuity, your skill, and your creativity. That's the job of a professional photographer, is to be a professional creative. It's hardly ever, when you're working as a professional, an artistic pursuit. The artistic work is something you're probably going to do on your own in your spare time. But if you stop loving what you're doing, you should not try to pursue it as a career. You often hear this advice: if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. It's just not true. It's not true. I love what I do, but every single day feels like work. There hasn't been much of it over the past year, and that's one of the reasons why I am shutting down the wedding side, and I'm just going to continue focusing on my commercial photography and my editorial photography. I went to university for entrepreneurship, and I remember the very first class I had at Brock University, I had a professor named Gene Lutschke, and he came in. I remember I'll never forget it, clear as day. He walked into class it was my first day in university, one of my first classes. He walked in, and it was Entrepreneurship 101. And he said, I'm going to tell you the only thing that you need to know to be successful as an entrepreneur. First of all, figure out what it is you love to do, and then figure out how to make money at it. Now that's tough. I love photography. Figuring out how to make money at it has taken a long time. So if you stop loving that thing you're doing, it's going to be very difficult for you to figure out how to make money at it. A third reason that would be a clear reason to stop running a photography business is if there are health issues involved, whether it's your health or you have to become a caretaker for someone in your family. Photography, in most cases, relies on you as the primary photographer. As we get older as well, for a lot of us, our bodies start to feel the strain and stress of being a photographer, being hunched over, 10-hour, 12-hour wedding days. Our bodies get to a point where they can't handle that stress. If you have a physical health issue or a mental health issue, make that your priority. These past few months for me, for my business, have been a real roller coaster. In January, we went into lockdown. We came out of that far too early in February. In March, I had more photo shoots than I did in the entire span of 2020. I was crazy busy. And then, boom, lockdown again. It's one of the reasons why I have taken a long time to get back to getting the YouTube videos up and running. I was busy, but because we're in a pandemic, there are a lot of mental health issues that come along with that for small business owners, for entrepreneurs. The anxiety of being able to make money when you're not allowed to work. The anxiety of being able to pay your bills, put food on the table. It's just so difficult right now for me to make a living doing what I love to do, because the work that I love to do is not allowed to happen. I can shoot commercial gigs, but there just aren't a lot of them happening right now. Now, one of the things that I love is that I've been able to do a lot more video work, and I'm going to be building a video portfolio, but I can't even work on building that portfolio right now because we are under stay-at-home orders. We literally are ordered to stay at home right now. And I'm going to be doing a lot more videos for YouTube. The podcast for Studio Builder is going to be archived. I'm not quitting it, but I'm just not focusing on it right now. I have to focus on YouTube in order to build enough of an audience and build enough videos and content that it can become a second income that can help support my existing business, but can also provide some small, no matter how small it is, bit of income that will help stabilize me through the next year or two. Because I'm sure, at least here in Ontario, we're going to be dealing with this for at least another year. So, how I want to end this video is I want to give you permission to quit. If you want to quit, if you've been feeling like this is probably something you should stop doing, you should probably stop doing it. You probably should have already stopped doing it. If you don't love it anymore, you should probably stop and investigate other routes. That's perfectly okay. You are allowed to change careers. That does not make you a failure. You can look back on the work that you did and be proud of it. I want to give you permission to move forward, to pivot, to quit. And that's really all I have to say for today. I'm going to go walk the dog. Yeah, we're going to go out right now, okay?